So since we have this, which is vegetable glycerin, it wasn't even for one of my projects, it was actually for one of my husband's projects. And seeing as we have this, what it is a snow globe, obviously. But see how it's got like air up here and stuff? Something went wrong with it, and it's not like, oh, you know, it's some sort of heirloom. Actually, what I think it really comes from is my work used to do this really cool thing around Christmas time. We would go out and we'd buy something from a thrift store, and we'd do, you know, those little white elephant gift exchange things. But then, you know, your limit was $20. We were helping out a thrift charity shop doing that. But then you'd also, like, you know, throw in either a bottle of wine, maybe not throw, it's not the right word, but you would, you know, put something in it, maybe scratch off something that made it also nice and extra exciting and fun. And it was for a good cause and a really good time. We had a lot of laughs with that. But as you can see, this is just kind of laughable right now. It may get a lot worse, because I am going to try and open it up and see if I can put some more glycerin in it. I might just be breaking a snow globe here, so for those huge snow globe fans, you may want to look away. Wait. Should I be successful, I have this trusty jar that'll hold the globe. Hopefully. Oh, no way. This is easier than I thought. Check it out. Okay. A lot of glue in there. Oh, and a little rubber seal. No way. Wow. It's slimy. All right, I guess the easy part is taking it apart. We'll see about putting it back together. Whoa, I did not think it would come out that easily. I'm gonna do stuff with this. Like, for instance, the little guy inside, he's kind of all, well, let's say a dog might have peed on the snow that made him. So I'm gonna clean that up, and I think I'm gonna repaint him. And then the bottom, it's not too bad because it's not too yellow or anything, but I might do some hand painting on that. As for the globe, I've actually never worked with anything like this. But I don't know if you can, here, I'll put up the paper towel. See how white the paper towel is? See how kind of yellow and not so cute that is? Well, I'm gonna see if maybe pouring some out and putting some glycerin in. I'm really excited. I've never really done any of this stuff. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Okay, did you know, I'm reading the instructions here, that apparently this stuff, this vegetable glycerin, it's like something for your healthy skin and hair. Lord knows I could use this. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with just the experiment I had planned. I'm gonna take some of this out. Now we'll see what happens when I pour something in. I think I might have done something wrong, because now the snowflakes aren't going down. They're kind of, oops. I don't know. What if I just do, it looks like my guy's gonna be stuck in a permanent storm. Okay, the next edit in this video will be because I went and spent some time trying to look up what goes into a snow globe if it's not glycerin. Okay, so I went and I checked some sites. Turns out it's all supposed to be filled with distilled water and then just a tiny pinch of glycerin. Here's what happens when you have old distilled water and a lot of glycerin. It's not good. So while I've got my husband out shopping for distilled water for me so I can add a pinch of glycerin to it, I'm going to try my best to empty this out and somehow rescue those snowflakes. So I put my hand over it and just kind of poured out the glycerin, which was easy enough to do because this stuff was lighter. It floated to the top. And I think I saved most of those guys. And then I wung it around a bit and tried to get some of the like yellowier distilled, that's a word, get that distilled yuck water out too. So I still have a little bit left because I don't want to lose the snowflakes. And probably one of my next projects will be with what to do with lots of glycerin. Because let's face it, this is massive. And you only need a pinch. No way. So I started trying to clean the little bugger. And he started to blister up and now his stuff is chipping off of him. And I just don't know. I'm going to keep trying to clean him up because I'm trying to save the little details, you know, no sense overpainting that as long as it's just a few pieces. But this might look very different. Okay, so now if this was some sort of much beloved, valuable family heirloom, I probably wouldn't be going at it with a screwdriver. But it's working pretty well, and then I'm kind of using an old sponge to sort of act as a nicer sanding. I'm being really delicate with it, but yeah, like I said, if it was something super valuable, maybe I wouldn't be doing this. Speaking of if it were super valuable, I'm gonna paint it, and I just happen to have my trusty Michael's acrylic paint mix and batch, and it's just all acrylic paint. If this were a wonderful valuable, I would go out and actually buy ceramic paint. But instead, what I'm going to try and do is touch it up and paint it with acrylic paint, and then use my polyurethane top coats to gloss it up once it's done, and hopefully that'll help it survive in Lord knows what. Distilled water and a pinch of glycerin. I've learned my lesson. So after careful study of it, we have come up with what we think this was intended to be. Now originally this was just globbed white with a little green tree in it. And we looked closer and I was like, is that drumsticks in his hands? Nope. Paintbrushes. And this is supposed to be a winter scene. So I'm going to try and paint like a frame on it and make it look like he was painting a picture possibly of himself or his family. And now I'm going to do something I've heard somebody on this very channel say to do before. I'm going to let it dry before I start messing with any of the other colors. Okay, so I put more detail in it than I thought I would, but I went ahead and used titanium standard white on pretty much everything, and then just used some pearlized white to accent the parts of him. This is my favorite. I went ahead and made his painting a little snowman in the trees. Because this is going into something that's got a lot of water in it, I'm not going to use water-based top coat, so that's usually my go-to favorite. Instead, I'm going to use polyurethane. Polyurethane does what on white? It yellows it. So eventually this is going to be probably a little yellow snowman again, but it was a thrift find. It was like, you know, it's cute while it lasts, and maybe it will be real fun for someone else years later to dig it up and make it pretty white again. And now I'm gonna remember to let it dry. Finally, look who's dry. Isn't he cute? All right, so I've got my globe, and as you'll see, that because the snowflakes are still floating, that shows that there's an excessive amount of glycerin still in here, so I am not going to add any more, but I am going to add some distilled water. Now, they say about 3/4 full, which I think would put me right around here, but the problem I have with this in the first place is, there's supposed to be some amount of air gap, but it was huge. So I'm going to try and put a little bit more and see if I don't create a whole disaster. And see if I can't create a success. By the way, if you haven't already, could you please subscribe? Oh, and hit the bell. It'll give you a little alert when I do a new video. Thanks. Distilled water. Ooh, look at the snow move around. That looks great. Gosh, I hope this isn't wrecking it, but I'm going to add a little more. There. Here we go. See how it's not very full? I don't like that. I'm going to try and add more. And it's not leaking, so for that alone, I'm thrilled. Ooh. Okay, not good. I think that's okay. It's this I gotta worry about. All right, I'm gonna try and glue gun into this, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't really use glue guns very often. I have one, so I'm gonna try it. It's actually got brown glue from something my kids were doing, so I don't even know. Oh, and it's oozing already. But hey, if you do want to watch somebody who knows a lot about glue guns and stuff like that, by the way, subscribe to my channel. That would be really nice. Go to Dazzling Designs by Denise. She's like the glue gun aficionado, and on top of everything else is when you start watching her stuff, it's amazing. She can look at something that's plain and ordinary and just like average, and all of a sudden, like, whoo, she's a total artist. She'll recreate it into something else. Totally cool. But yeah, wait a minute, yeah. Dazzling Designs by Denise. I'll put a link there. Well, okay, this isn't working. I got lots of glue in here. Absolutely no glue in here. Thinking maybe I need an epoxy for this because I don't know why. This is one more indication why winging it isn't always a good thing to do. All right, I have the epoxy, the E6000, and the other thing it is it takes a while to dry too. So, as I mentioned before with Dazzling Designs by Denise, one of the things she does is she does glue gun and she'll do the epoxy. So I get it. pretty cute. I learned a good deal from this one. For starters, it's easier to take apart than put together. Probably true with most things. Likewise, winging it doesn't save time. And I also learned, though, the big important ones is that it takes very little glycerin to make it bubbly bubbly, and that you can take old snow globes and like freshen them up, clean them up, make them look pretty, or change them up. You know, if I had glitter, which is easy enough to get anywhere, I probably would have put glitter inside of this. But seeing now that I have a ton of glycerin, there's a good chance I will be making more snow globes.